Rudy had always looked like the kind of creator who could survive anything. On camera, he appeared confident, creative, and endlessly motivated. His videos were packed with massive fabrication projects, custom builds, and wild engineering ideas that inspired thousands of viewers. Fans saw a man who seemed completely in control of his life, someone who could weld together impossible ideas and somehow make them work. But behind the camera, the truth was very different. After weeks of silence, Rudy finally uploaded a video that felt unlike anything he had shared before. His energy was gone. The usual excitement had been replaced with exhaustion and frustration. Standing inside an empty building, he admitted that his life was falling apart. He explained that he had not disappeared because he was lazy or uninspired. He had disappeared because he was trying to hold everything together. The cheerful creator people admired was struggling under the weight of constant pressure, financial uncertainty, and repeated failures. For the first time, viewers saw the real Rudy, not the entertainer, not the fearless builder, but a man overwhelmed by instability and fear. 4 shops in 4 years. The biggest sign that Rudy's life was spiraling out of control was his endless cycle of moving shops. For most businesses, relocating once can be stressful and expensive. Rudy had done it 4 times in 4 years. Every move drained money, time, and energy. Every move disrupted projects, delayed uploads, and forced him to rebuild his workspace from scratch. At first, the changes seemed exciting to viewers. New shops meant new opportunities, bigger builds, and fresh beginnings. But behind the scenes, the constant relocation was destroying him. Each move represented another failed attempt to create stability. Rudy explained that his first workshop had been tiny and poorly located. It worked for a while, but eventually he outgrew it. Then came another shop with more room but new problems. Another move followed after that. Instead of building momentum, he was trapped in a cycle of starting over again and again. The situation became emotionally exhausting. Every time he unpacked tools and organized equipment, he wondered how long it would last before he had to do it all over again. The instability slowly wore him down and made him question whether the dream was sustainable. The search for the perfect workshop. For Rudy, a workshop was more than just a place to work. It was the foundation of his career, his creativity, and his identity. Every project on his channel depended on having enough room, the right layout, and an environment where he could focus without constant interruptions. His first workshop in Utah was cramped and limiting, making large fabrication jobs nearly impossible. Even though it helped launch his channel, Rudy always dreamed of something bigger and better. Eventually, he moved to a larger space in Hilldale, hoping it would finally solve his problems. The cheap rent and extra room seemed perfect at first. However, the location felt isolated, and the shop never truly became home. Despite the larger size, something always felt off. Rudy tried to convince himself he could make it work, but deep down, he knew he was still searching for the place where his business could finally settle. The dream of finding the perfect workshop consumed him. He believed that once he found the right space, everything else in his life would finally become easier and more stable. The dream of moving to Hurricane. After years of frustration, Rudy became convinced that Hurricane, Utah, was the answer to all his problems. The town offered everything he wanted. It was closer to family, closer to stores and suppliers, and closer to the off-road areas where he could test many of his creations. Unlike the isolation he experienced before, Hurricane felt alive and full of opportunity. Rudy imagined a future where he could grow both personally and professionally. He believed this move would finally bring balance into his chaotic life. The dream became so powerful that he committed completely to making it happen. He ended his current shop lease and prepared to leave his home behind. Every decision pushed him further toward this new beginning. Friends and fans likely assumed he was excited, but underneath that excitement was enormous pressure. If this move failed, he would lose everything. Still, Rudy trusted the plan. He packed his belongings, organized equipment, and mentally prepared for a fresh start. The new workshop in Hurricane symbolized hope. It represented stability, growth, and the possibility of finally escaping the endless cycle of instability that had haunted him for years. The phone call that destroyed everything. Homeless, shopless, and out of options. Rudy openly admitted that he reached a point where he felt completely lost. Being homeless and shopless was not just an inconvenience, it was a total collapse of stability. He had invested years into building his channel and creating a reputation as a talented fabricator, yet suddenly he had nowhere to work and nowhere to live. Every piece of equipment he owned represented years of sacrifice and financial risk. Massive tools and machines cannot simply be stored in a small garage or temporary storage unit. The logistical nightmare alone was enough to overwhelm anyone. Beyond the practical problems, the emotional impact was devastating. Rudy felt like he had failed not only himself, but also the audience that supported him. Fans were waiting for new videos while he was struggling just to survive day by day. The pressure to keep producing content while facing personal disaster became unbearable. He admitted that the experience forced him to confront how fragile his entire lifestyle really was. For the first time, he realized that the adventurous image people saw online was hiding a reality filled with stress, fear, and uncertainty that he could no longer ignore. The last-minute miracle shop. When everything seemed hopeless, an unexpected opportunity appeared almost out of nowhere. Rudy found another workshop available less than a block away from his previous location. The timing felt almost unbelievable. After weeks of panic and uncertainty, he finally had somewhere to move his equipment and continue working. Although the new shop was smaller than he wanted, it was still a lifeline. Rudy immediately began trying to see the positives. The layout was more efficient, the floors were cleaner, and there was outdoor space he could use for projects. Still, the relief was mixed with intense pressure because he had almost no time to complete the move. He was preparing for a scheduled trip to Mexico connected to the NORA 1000 off-road race, and the deadline could not be changed. Rudy suddenly had only 2 days to relocate his entire fabrication business. The challenge was enormous. Thousands of pounds of tools, machinery, steel, and equipment needed to be packed, transported, and organized immediately. The move became a frantic race against time, forcing Rudy and his friends to work non-stop just to avoid complete disaster. Moving an entire life in 48 hours, the emergency move pushed Rudy to his physical and emotional limits. Relocating an entire fabrication shop in just 2 days sounded nearly impossible, yet he had no choice. Friends came to help, but even with extra hands, the process was exhausting. Massive toolboxes had to be loaded carefully, heavy welding machines needed transportation, steel racks, spare parts, lifts, compressors, and countless small tools had to be organized quickly before anything was lost or damaged. The pressure never stopped because the clock was constantly ticking. Rudy tried to stay positive, joking with friends and focusing on small victories, but underneath the humor was desperation. Every delay threatened to ruin the schedule completely. The move represented more than just changing locations. It felt like a final attempt to save his career before everything collapsed permanently. During the chaos, Rudy began reflecting on how exhausting the constant instability had become. He realized he had spent years surviving instead of truly living. Every project, every upload, and every move carried enormous stress that viewers never saw. The emergency relocation forced him to confront the reality that his dream lifestyle had become emotionally unsustainable. The snow track project that haunted him, while cleaning through old equipment during the move, Rudy rediscovered one of the most painful reminders of his career, the failed snow track project. At first, the idea had seemed brilliant. He wanted to design and build custom snow tracks for his Jeep instead of buying expensive commercial versions. The project perfectly matched his adventurous personality and engineering mindset. Rudy believed so strongly in the concept that he built all 4 tracks at once instead of testing a single prototype first. Unfortunately, the design contained a fatal flaw. Once installed on the vehicle, the immense weight created bending and stress that slowly destroyed critical components. The tracks technically worked for a short time, but the design could never survive real use. Rudy had invested nearly $10,000 into the project, a devastating financial loss for an independent creator. More painful than the money, however, was the embarrassment. He felt ashamed that such an ambitious project had failed so publicly. Instead of sharing the failure honestly with viewers, he hid the tracks away in a corner, avoiding the subject for years because the disappointment still hurt deeply. The emotional cost of failure. The failed snow tracks represented something much larger than a bad engineering decision. They became a symbol of the emotional burden Rudy had been carrying for years. As a creator, he felt constant pressure to appear successful and confident. Viewers expected innovation, progress, and exciting results. Failure felt dangerous because it threatened the image people had of him. Rudy admitted that he was embarrassed to reveal how badly the snow track project failed. He worried that fans would see him differently or lose confidence in his abilities. Instead of processing the experience openly, he buried it emotionally and financially. The secret slowly poisoned his mental health. Every unfinished project and delayed upload reminded him of the mistakes he wanted to forget. Over time, the pressure of maintaining a positive online image became exhausting. Rudy realized he had spent years pretending everything was under control while privately struggling with anxiety, financial instability, and self-doubt. The emotional cost of constantly hiding his failures became too heavy to carry. Eventually, the stress reached a point where he could no longer continue pretending that everything in his life was working perfectly. The pressure of living online, choosing silence to save himself, the lesson hidden inside Rudy's story,